blend.
Good morning, this is Jackie from the Stitchin Post, and today's demo is on how to make Gnome bottle toppers. And that's what these are right here. We have a kit available. This is what the kit looks like, and what you get in it is right here. You get a 18 by 24 inch piece of blended wool felt. You get a 12-inch by 4-inch piece of the beard, 6 noses and 6 bells, which means that we can make 6 gnome toppers out of this kit. So I'm going to show you how to mark and cut your felt first. Okay, get a ruler, line it up there. It's pretty simple. And I mark every 3 inches. Make sure that you're marking on the back side of you have to determine what you want the front of your hat to be and what the back is. This particular wool felt blend has a little bit of black blended into it. It's called heather. And one side has less black and one side has more black in it. I want the more black on the outside. So that is how I chose the background here, the back. I'm just going to mark it with a little dot. I just use a Sharpie every 3 inches. Okay? And I'm going to do this on both sides of the felt. Boom. Okay. And I'm going to start on the end that I started with on the front there. Just in case this isn't quite 18 inches or a little bit more than 18 inches. See, I'm marking it. Okay. Then I'm going to take my ruler, the one I happen to have laying here, and my rotary cutter. And I'm going to lay my ruler on top of this. And with that 3 inches here, and this corner here, I'm going to cut at an angle. This is so we can avoid a template. Yeah, no template. Okay, give that piece. Now we're going to start cutting our little hats. And I'm going to measure over it's 3 inches. We want 6 inches across the bottom. And since we marked it every 3 inches, we'll just go to this next dot. The dot up here, the point, and the dot down here. And cut that off. There's our first hat. Okay, now this point, 6 inches across the bottom down here. So we're going to go to this dot and get that same angle and cut it. Okay. Same thing again. Now we're going to go 6 inches on the bottom here to the angle up there, the little point. Cut that. And you should, if I did this correctly, you should get 6 out of this. We're going to find out, aren't we? Okay. That's 4. Five and 6. Okay, so now I have my 6 hats, and I'm going to press them. Or not press them, I'm going to sew them. All right, not going to worry about those because I actually have some cut right here. Get it? All right, so right sides together. Now make sure that you don't see any little dots on this, otherwise you're on the wrong side of your hat. Okay, I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, I always start with a bunny tail on my machine so that I don't have threads hanging off the ends here. I'm just going to take a 1/4 inch seam. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And I do have matching thread in here because when you turn it inside out, you might actually see that thread. I'm not going to sew all the way to the point because there's no reason to. And about here, I'm going to stop and turn my hat. And do sew to the end and back tack a little bit. And I'm going to put the second hat in. I'm going to chain stitch these. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I back tacked on the beginning of this, but you want to, when you put the hat in here, you definitely want to come forward 3 or 4 stitches and back tack, because when you're turning it inside out, it really stresses that seam. Okay, you get the idea there. I don't have to keep going. Let me clip this off. Now, we're going to clip the tip off, okay, and the little angle here. Oh, did you see that? Okay. Okay, now we're going to turn it inside out. Okay. And I happen to have a bunch laying here that I can turn inside out. Okay. This is the hardest part of this whole thing, just because it's time consuming. I recommend making all your hats. I do mine like I do all my hats first, and then I go back and flip them inside out while I'm watching, I don't know, basketball, football, baseball, or a good movie. And it takes a while. It takes a while. I would try using a chopstick also. You can get your finger down here so far and kind of pull this. And you got to remember, this is felt, so it's not a woven material. It's matted together, and you could put a hole in it. So you got to be careful, kind of gentle when you're turning these inside out. So I have this lovely little stick that I use to turn this inside out. Okay. And, oh, it's fun. I just love doing this. Okay. And this could take a little bit. Okay, put it in this end. A chopstick, a knitting needle, not too sharp of an end though, because you can go right through this, and I have done that many a times. So most time you can kind of hide it, maybe put a little patch on it. And you don't have to come to a point on the end here at all, really. Just kind of dig that out. Okay. And again, it doesn't have to be a point. All right. Okay, that's pretty good. But here I've got 6 that are finished, okay? Where I've got them. And you see that it's not really pointy at the end. It'll be fine. A bell is going to be on the end there. Okay, now I'm hoping my glue gun got warmed up. Oh, I need to show you how to cut the beard, first of all. So you've got 12 inches here of beard. You're going to cut this beard every 2 inches. So you can do the same thing. Get your little ruler out and mark every 2 inches this time. And only use a little dot for your Sharpie, because you don't want to show. Not that it's going to show, it's going to be hidden inside that little hat. Okay, so a good pair of sharp scissors. I have a little pair of Kai scissors that I really like for this. You don't want to cut the hair. So when you cut this, you want to just go just under that white fabric and just slice right along the top and just go straight down. Okay, pull it apart. Voila, I didn't cut the hair. See, his beard is intact. Now, you can leave it like this, but I actually like to have a little curve on the bottom. See where I just curved it a little bit? So again, just go underneath, just under the top there, and just do a nice little gentle curve. And you might not even notice this when you're putting your little beard on your gnome. Again, because we don't want to cut that long hair away. There we go. So that beard's all ready to go. Now, when I make these things, I made like 80 of them. I had a bag full of 80 little beards, because this stuff, you'll want to pull all the little loose pieces off of it. There we go. But that one's ready to go. Then you just cut all these up. I would cut all my beards at the same time, have them setting aside. Okay, so now we're going to work on our putting them together. This is super fast, great little project to do with your kids, your grandma, well, your husband even maybe. He might like getting into this, because he might be the one wanting to get the bottle for Christmas. Okay, so I have the finished ones here. So we're going to start, we have our little beard here. Now, hot glue can burn your fingers, so you've got to be very, very careful about this. I open up my hat like so. Make sure this is, I think it's working. Yeah, okay. Then I go inside about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inches up, and I put a line of glue. Okay, and you need to be up in the hat. You don't want it down on the edge here, and you're going to find out why in a minute. Turn this upside down with all the hairs running down. There we go. Now I'm going to put this in here above that glue line. See, and then I'm just going to use my fingers to tack it down. Now I put it above the glue, so the glue is not getting on my fingers. But I have burnt myself many a times. There we go. That's on there. Turn it over, and there's a little space here, because now we're going to do our little wood nose. Okay, I have used buttons and used putty to fill in the holes. because I was desperate for little noses at one time. Put a little bit of glue on there. Again, you can burn yourself. Open that up a little bit, slide the nose under like so. So he's just kind of like halfway under there. Push it in place, and you can feel the glue right there. Okay, this is done. The only thing now you need to do is sew the bell to the top, and then he's finished. And then he will go right on the bottle, like so. There we go. Now you have an extra special gift to give somebody during the holidays. Now I have done these with black hair, little beards, little gray beards. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. We call it a gnome. It could be a Santa, but it could be whatever you want it to be. Thank you, and have a good afternoon.